What happened in the month of September in Edmonton's real estate market? We're going to talk about that in this video. Hi, this is Melody Wilson with the RELife team powered by Real Broker, talking today about what happened in September's Edmonton real estate market. So no big surprise that the month of September we saw a slowdown in the real estate market. We have actually been seeing a slowdown over the last few months, starting in about August and September and now even October. And that's no big surprise. We always see a seasonal slowdown, and you'll see that in the active listings that came on the market. The number of listings that came on were a lot less month over month and year over year. And I suspect that we're going to trend downwards as we continue to go on towards the end of the year. So if people are putting up their houses for sale right now, they are needing to sell before the end of the year. So as a buyer, this is an opportunity for you to take advantage of this and make sure you move into a house before Christmas or before the snow flies. Now, when it comes to thinking about selling next year, we have a lot of sellers actually considering that more than necessarily considering to sell this year. So if you're looking at the number of sales that have happened in September, you'll notice that they've also gone down month over month and year over year. It went down about almost 7% from August, which is, again, nothing to be super alarmed about because there was a lot of influx of sales before everyone's going into school and getting everything sorted out before the fall. So don't forget, last year at this time, we were experiencing our delayed market. So our market for the typical spring market didn't actually occur until later on in the year, which meant this time last year, we were still quite busy, and that is why our sales are significantly down from last year. Now, does that mean the market is crashing? Absolutely not. A lot of people are wondering if our market will readjust back to prior to the change and what happened in the last year and a half. But my personal professional opinion is that we're just going through our seasonal low right now, and we will continue that as the months go on. We will, I think, see a recovery in the market again in the springtime. So if you're looking to sell your home, it's not completely at a loss. If you look at the average days on market, you'll notice that we only went up by 1 day from last month, so nothing crazy. But if you look at the last year, we're down a whole week. So it's still moving quicker than it was last year. So the average days being at 37 days right now isn't bad at all, but you will see that the upward trend will probably continue on average days on market. In the next few months, it will probably go up like it did last year and every season, and then we'll start to see in February, it will start to change. This past year, February is when we saw the change in the average days on market and the market pick up. Now, my guess for this year is likely it'll happen in March instead of February, but we can see because nobody has a crystal ball. So no big surprise that the number of sales, the majority have happened between $300 to $399. Now, if you're looking at $400 to $499, that's actually the most next popular price point as well. So what does that mean for you as a buyer? As a buyer, that means that there's going to be more competition, you're going to have to be quicker to move, and there's less properties. I mean, we came from a seller's market, which meant there was already less properties to begin with and more demand. But when you look at the price point where the more demand is happening already, and as we go into the winter months and the inventory is less, it means that this price point is going to be even more competitive and there may not be as many options. And as a seller, that means if your home is in this price point for anywhere from $300,000 to $500,000, you have a really good opportunity. If you showcase your home really well and price it accordingly, you'll be able to really take advantage of this market. So as a seller, does that mean you just throw up your house in the market because you know you're going to get top dollar? You can price it really high and not have to worry about getting your house ready? You know my answer, no. If you take that time to make the effort to showcase your home properly, do the things that we need to do, obviously you don't have very much time, so you want to move quickly on getting some repainting done or whatever we send you as a list to do and our stager advises you to do, this will allow you to get the maximum amount of money back and the quickest sale. And so that's what every seller wants, is the top dollar and a fast sale. So in the price point of $500 to $599, it's actually still 14% of sales, which is still good news for you as a seller. If you're looking to sell, there's still a good chunk of sales happening in this price range, more than the $200 to $299 actually. So as a seller, make sure again that we do everything we possibly can to showcase that property, because though 14% is still a good chunk of sales, it's still not the majority of sales. So you do still have competition when it comes to the buyers. Now, when buyers buyers are thinking about this, you still have some good variety of properties to look at because there's only 14% of the market sales happening in this price range. So make sure that when you're looking at these properties, we're expanding and looking. Sometimes these homes are overpriced, and so we might have to look a little bit higher of what it is, but by no means are we going to be doing lowball offers because that never will work. So properties over $1 million so far year to date has made up of 2% of Edmonton real estate market sales. So that's actually not bad at all. As a homeowner, you are growing equity if you own a home in this price range. If you're looking to purchase and enter this market, there are still sales happening, so you know that the market hasn't completely fallen on the luxury market for Edmonton. Now keep in mind, we are still in a balanced market, actually more towards the buyer's market again. We have moved significantly from what we were 4 or 5 months ago, from a seller's market to more of a balance. And what does that mean again? So in a balanced market, it means that there is the same amount of buyers as listings, and in a seller's market, there are less listings, more buyers, and a buyer's market, there's actually more listings than there are buyers. So if you look at the listing absorption rate, you're looking a little over 23%, which means your odds of selling is just around that point. You have a 23% odds of selling. Now that's much better than we have seen in the past, but it's also still no longer a seller's market. A seller's market, your odds of selling are even higher. So if you're a seller, what does that mean for you to sell in this market where it's a little bit more on the buyer's side? It means that you just need to have a plan to make sure we put that in place to make sure we sell your home in this market. The market isn't shifting, I don't believe, all the way extreme to extreme buyer's market that we were before. Again, we're just moving into the seasonal months where this is gonna stay here for a little bit. It probably will move back into more of a balanced market this spring, and maybe during the peak months we might see a little bit of a seller's market. But that's just my guess. I do think right now that we are seeing a slowdown just because of the colder months coming ahead. So the average price is just over $465,000. That is still a really great price that we haven't seen for a long time here at Edmonton. It is a little bit lower than it was last month, but it is still higher than it was last year. If you look over the last 12 months, you'll see that our highest average price point was in June, which is no big surprise because that was one of our busiest months that we saw in May and June for sales. So if you're looking at the overall average sales in terms of how expensive have houses increased in the last year, now that it's, the market stats here are till the end of September, it's the majority of the year, we only have 1 quarter left, usually it's our quieter quarter. How much have prices gone up from last year? Well, they've already gone up over 7%, which compared to last year, we only went up just over 1%. We've definitely had a really strong real estate market here at Edmonton this year, and we'll see likely what's going to happen in the next year to see if our market continues to grow. Now keep in mind, we do need this kind of growth for the health of our economy and the Edmonton real estate market homeowners. Because if you look at our provinces in BC and Ontario, they always have a consistent amount of growth, and Alberta has actually seen quite a sad increase or lack of increase in equity for homeowners. So as homeowners, when your equity does increase, it gives you so many more options and opens up a lot of doors because you can take equity out of your home to maybe renovate and update your home to bring more equity into the property, or you can actually upgrade and look into the equity that you built in the home that you first bought. You're actually able to move on and move your family to the next home and use that equity as down payment for your next house. Now for buyers, what does this mean? Is this horrible? The prices have gone up, you don't want to buy, you want to wait till the market crashes. I always advise my clients this: take a look at the interest rates. When the interest rates are as low as they are right now, it is always a better time to buy when the interest rates are high and their prices are low. Because if you take a look at the amount of interest paid, you're going to be paying a lot less interest, your mortgage payment will be less than if you had bought a house that was less than what it is now, but the interest rates are quite a bit higher. So if you have any other questions about the Edmonton real estate market, comment down below, send me a message, I'd be happy to answer them, and we'll talk to you next month.